Well, husband and wife are in jail tonight after a confrontation with a Nueces County Constable. Michael Gibson here now with more on that confrontation that went down this morning in front of Tuloso-Midway Primary School. Michael?
Well, it was before school started this morning, as the county constable was simply directing traffic in front of the school when he says 48-year-old Bryant Johnson didn't obey his orders and kept on driving. Here's video a viewer sent us of some of what happened next. The deputy constable from Precinct 1 had to pull out his taser to get Johnson to finally follow his orders. Now, this is only a short clip of the entire encounter. A sergeant with the Precinct 1 constable's office let us watch the entire encounter, and I have to tell you that after watching the video from the outset, the deputy was cool and calm and showing great restraint as Johnson yelled, cursed, and claimed racism. This went on in front of students and parents who were dropping their children off to school. Eventually, another officer showed up, and they were able to arrest Johnson on a number of charges, including disorderly conduct and having an unrestrained 3-year-old child in the front seat of his own vehicle. Johnson's wife, Desiree, was also arrested in this incident because she was already wanted by police.
It was a common situation that officers are encountering every day now. People challenging them during a traffic stop or during a detention. This was a minor traffic violation that could easily have been handled with a citation or a verbal warning.
Sergeant Martinez tells us that the constable's office will probably use the video of the encounter as a training tool for other officers. That's because of the officers staying cool and professional during a very scary confrontation. Now, the superintendent, Rod Sumner, says the district says that each principal has the authority to restrict parents who are disruptive on campus. No decision has been made yet by the district, but Sergeant Martinez says if it was his decision, he would ban Bryant Johnson after today's encounter. Joe?
Michael, thank you.